Hello, everyone, and welcome to Afro-Vegan Society's live news special, Why Eating Chicken Ain't It, where we explore some of the many cultural, ethical, health, environmental, and all those types of reasons why it's time to leave chicken off of your plate for good. And I'm your co-host, Jamila Anahata.
Hello, everybody, and I'm your other co host, Jess Sanders. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. And our first segment of the day is the surprising significance of chicken in the Black community. Roll the meme, please.
Okay, so I know all of y'all have seen this face before in this meme for so many different things. In this case, let's read it together, shall we? So it says, vegans will really look you right in your eyes and compare cauliflower to chicken. But you know what? I say yes because it is all about the seasonings anyway. You know what I mean? And cauliflower is really good. What do you
Exactly.
think, Camilla?
You need to get your vegetables in, and that is the perfect way to do so. And people need to stop tripping because they know they like themselves some fried cauliflower. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So you know what? There's such a common stereotype of Black people loving chicken. We've all heard of the correlation between Black people and fried chicken. That
Mhm.
trope has been around as long as we can remember. But where does it come from? Let's unpack that, shall we?
Yes, absolutely. There's more of a historical significance than we think. And honestly, there was a point in time during enslavement where enslaved Black women were able to sell fried chicken. We were fed the scraps. Our ancestors were fed the scraps, and you had to do what you had to do. You had to make it flavorful. You had to make it filling for everybody. So there are some enslaved Black women who would fry up some chicken gizzards or whatever and sell them in their community as a means of financial autonomy in the slave system.
Yes, absolutely. So even getting into current day, there is still continued significance. It feels like there's a fried chicken spot on every corner in low income Black communities. So it is not surprising that African Americans consume the most chicken out of any other racial or ethnic group in the United States. And sadly, we also suffer from fried chicken consumption and production from factory farming and health complications. Is it time to leave chicken in the past?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to say so myself. It is time to leave it all the way in the past. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So let's dive deeper into chickens with our next segment. Chickens in nature versus captivity. We want to take a moment to give you the opportunity to think about chickens differently than you may have been programmed to. They are not just objects for breasts and wings, they're actually amazing creatures. And let's take a look at this clip.
Yes. Oh,
Aren't they so cute?
dwarves.
So, baby chicks are some of the cutest creatures. So, let's get into some facts, starting with chickens in captivity. So, there are 9 billion of these babies slaughtered every single year. That is billion with a B. Broiler chickens are specifically bred and hatched for the sole purpose to be eaten. Chickens are sexed in hatcheries for egg production. Male chicks are often killed within hours of hatching because they'll never lay eggs. They're injected with dangerous chemicals and high levels of growth hormones designed to make chickens gain weight and or reproduce abnormal rates. Now, for the contrast, let's talk about chickens living in nature. Chickens naturally lived in forests and jungles before domestication. They're native to Southeast Asia. So if you ever find yourself somewhere close to Southeast Asia, you may see chickens in their natural habitat in tropical jungles. So, fun fact, did you know that chickens are related to dinosaurs? Scientists have found that chickens are direct descendants of dinosaurs, particularly the Tyrannosaurus rex. They share anatomical and molecular similarities. Yes, and also, let's get into another fun fact. So chickens love to take dust baths. What's a dust bath? So exactly what it sounds like. It's when chickens have a spa day in the dirt. It controls the oils on their bodies, prevents mites and lice, and it's enjoyable. They fluff their feathers, they flop around, they get soil everywhere on their bodies, and they may spend an upward of 15 to 20 minutes rolling around in dusty chicken bliss. So captive chickens who are caged and confined, they do not have access to dust baths and are more at risk for mice and lice. So they're medicated rather than being allowed to feed themselves as they would naturally in the wild. What do you think about Just Baby Jamila? Not too funny.
That is so adorable. I just can't even go. I can't even conceptualize how adorable chickens are in general, no matter what age they are. They're
No.
so mystical, and just like what you said, they live in they're naturally in jungles and they dust bathe. How cute is that? And
Right.
honestly, it breaks my heart that their bodies are so cheaply sold at stores. And that actually leads us to my segment of why is there a chicken spot in every corner? So please roll the clip. And
Meats
yes,
right here, chicken, pork chops, about neck bones, turkey necks, basic food. And over here, I have their kind of quick food. We have corn dogs, burritos, things like that. When I go to the convenience store, it's not much I can feed them there. I have to feed them like something quick they not gonna get full off of. But if I go to the grocery store, I get a chance to cook a full course meal.
Hey, how are you? This is a typical Memphis convenience store. They have a little produce, which I'm proud. They have some potatoes and onions. But if you notice right behind, there are sodas. 2-liter sodas and snack foods. So cookies and chips and candy and Kool-Aid, whole aisles of chips. Even more soda, sugary American breakfast foods, cereals, mechanically separated chicken, which is already kind of scary sounding, contains 2% or less of beef, pork, and so those are the type of ingredients that you're getting. This is pretty typical of what people have access to just walking up in their neighborhood.
and by the way, that video is from The Guardian, everyone. And as y'all saw, that is another thing that definitely breaks my heart because as somebody who has Southern family, I could hear their accents. I could see the stores that I used to frequent. I just could feel absolutely like what that feels like with the rural poverty. And for a lot of people who don't know, when it comes to the food justice aspect of everything, that Black and Brown folks, low income, of course, are more than twice as likely to be food insecure in the US. And that is absolutely wild. Because there, once again, as we mentioned earlier, there is definitely a cultural significance to fried chicken. It's been in our families for generation. It goes along with soul food. It make in a lot of ways it can be delicious. It can be made vegan and be even more delicious. But it's been in our families for generations and generations. And even if it became popular during enslavement, it is something that has really wreaked havoc on our health. It has wreaked havoc on, when it comes to being food secure, you have no choice but to buy these types of products. As you saw in the clip, there are nutrition-free cereals, there are no produce, and if so, the produce is not going to be fresh, and that is not fair. And unfortunately, a lot of stores, grocery stores, convenience stores, are technically allowed to do things like this based off of redlining or zoning, which basically keeps high-end products or produce or great food that people should be eating out of low income areas, namely Black and Brown areas. So unfortunately, the reason why there's a chicken spot in every corner is not only just because of the cultural significance of it, it is definitely because of redlining and zoning. Grocery stores are allowed to go into the areas that will cost the most money, that people will pay the most money. But unfortunately, that causes so many health problems in our area out of that convenience, out of that affordability, especially when it comes to our heart health, our cardiovascular health, our, people get strokes, heart attacks, diabetes, gout, all those things that are very much so related to the fast food that are very running rampant in our areas. So yeah, this video not only just shows you the realities of everything that goes on in these communities, especially in rural poverty. But you just can't help but to feel the heartbreak of people who are so deserving of healthy food, but just do not have access of it. So yeah, what did you think about that, Jess? Horrible.
Absolutely. We can all relate, most of us. We have all been to a corner store, whether it be like back in school days, waiting for the bus stop, you want a snack, and it's like the video showed, it's sodas and chips and, even the canned meat like they showed. So
Mhm.
absolutely. So not only does chicken have an impact on our communities, it also has a huge negative environmental impact. Let's talk about it with our next segment, Running Down the Clock, playing chicken with our environmental future. Let's roll the clip from Sentient Media. Oh my goodness. That video had so many eye opening facts. To know that these things are happening to the planet that we all share, from chicken farming and the egg industry, just to put chicken on people's plates to eat, is devastating. There are so many unfortunate facts, but in case you missed it, I just want to emphasize some pivotal ones. So, due to the increase in global demand for chicken, meat, and eggs, the production of chicken feed must also grow. The global poultry feed market was valued at 175.9 billion in 2018, growing at a rate of 4.5%. This increase in feed production has resulted in the expansion of croplands, resulting in deforestation of biodiverse forests and the pollution of water sources. The pollution is caused by the use of mineral fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides. It also contributes to air pollution from nitrogen fertilizers. American chicken consumption produces 129 billion pounds of CO2 emissions per year. That's the same amount of CO2 as 12.3 million cars. At the end of the video from Sentient Media, it said it's time for a global shift away from chicken and egg products. I have to say that I wholeheartedly agree. What do you think about those facts, Jamila?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for those statistics, Jess, because we really need to know this. And these are topics that no one's really covering. All because, yeah, exactly. All
Mhm.
because of the convenience of having chicken and eggs. And when you really find out where your food is coming from, the means of production, and what that does to the planet, once again, that we share,
Mhm.
can't help but want to make some sort of change, even if it's not easy. So
Yeah.
that is so important. And I'm so glad Sentient Media made a video like that.
Mhm.
Ooh, it's wild.
Yeah,
Absolutely wild. Mhm,
absolutely.
definitely. But yeah, honestly, the environmental destruction is absolutely terrible. but so are the food safety concerns at certain chicken spots, y'all. And just to add a disclaimer to my next subject, do y'all love that chicken from Popeyes? There is going to be some profanity in it, so please turn away or please cover your ears if you do not, if that is a triggering thing for you. So roll the clip, please.
All raw chicken to all the Popeyes in the DC area. Watch this shit right here. All right, y'all ready? This is Popeyes. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Look. Goddamn rats. Look. Look at this shit. These motherfuckers. Look at them. Oh my God. Look at them. Look at them. Shit. Look at them. You still love that chicken from Popeyes?
I'm sorry. That's not necessarily funny because that's a horrible thing. However, every time he says that, it just cracks me up because for real, that is a question that we all need to be asking for ourselves. Yes, Popeyes is convenient. Yes, it might be a little bit tasty. However, there are so many foodborne illnesses and diseases that go into our food, like fast food, just convenient foods, all that type of stuff. But, we don't think about that. And of course, we are not rat haters here at Afro-Vegan Society. We believe that, but realistically, that can cause tons of diseases, from the feces, the waste, and, whatever they're carrying from outside. That is absolutely unacceptable. And we do not think about that. When you have an animal's body, their secretions, that has to stay far, far away from waste, even though it is waste within itself. But when you entangle with that, you get all types of foodborne illnesses. There are pest manifestations, and realistically, we don't hate rats, we do not hate cockroaches. But do you want to have food that's laden with cockroach feces and rat feces? I think not. And absolutely, and if you have been somebody who has worked within food service, a lot of us have worked in food service. We understand that there are tons of instances where there's mismanagement of food storage. We understand that, sometimes people do not throw away expired goods. People do not put things in the right area. You can't have raw chicken and cooked chicken in the same area, but you can have raw tofu and cooked tofu, convenience. However, food storage is a huge issue when it comes to using flesh and secretions. And there are so many instances of lack of food regulation for health safety precautions. A lot of things get slipped under the radar just out of convenience, just to make profits. And that is absolutely unacceptable. So yes, y'all, like when you think about loving that chicken from Popeyes, think about how it has come to your plate. Think about how it is sustained within the restaurant, and think about what that does to your body. Not even just the health precautions of eating flesh and secretions anyway, but just were people's hands clean? Did people use the right gloves? Did they change the oil? There are so many things that go into that we do not consider, and we must. So, Jess, what do you think?
Absolutely. I agree with you. That video is humorous, but the truth about all the foodborne illnesses, especially when it comes to chicken, is so true. So humans aren't the only ones that suffer. Let's talk about how chicken goes from the farm to your plate with our next segment, Cruelty for Dinner, how chicken goes from the farm to your plate. Roll the clip.
Many of us take for granted, but the truth about how chickens go from the farm to our plate is more complicated and cruel than we might imagine. And the consequences of consuming chicken for food can take a major toll on our health. So let's explore 15 eye-opening facts about the chickens we eat, and hopefully you'll feel inspired to leave chicken off your plate for good. There are over 20 billion chickens on the planet. That's more than 3 chickens for every human on Earth. In comparison to egg-laying hens, a broiler is any chicken that is bred and raised specifically for meat production. There are 9 billion broiler chicks hatched in the United States each year. Their sole purpose in life is to grow fast to be consumed. Chicken is the most commonly consumed meat product in the U.S. In 2020, the average American ate about 96.4 pounds of broiler chickens. Chicken is a $48 billion industry. Wendy's, McDonald's, and Chick-fil-A all go through 1.4 billion pounds of chicken per year alone. That's 3.7 million pounds per day and about 43 pounds of chicken per second. You may think that free-range chickens are healthier or raised more humanely, but the truth is there is no enforceable legal definition of what free-range chicken actually is. Terms like all-natural, no hormones added, free-range, raised cage-free, and humanely raised on chicken packages are often misleading and are left up to the individual chicken farmers to determine on their USDA application. Broiler chickens are bred to grow 6 times the size of normal chickens. Black Americans consume more chicken than any other racial or ethnic group in the United States. This means that we ingest the chemicals used in chicken farming at significantly higher rates than other races and are prone to have more health complications as a result. Environmental threats of chicken farming also impact Black communities because of the volatile organic compounds that are emitted from industrial farms. Animal agriculture has been shown to have substantial impact on low-income communities because of where these farms are located. Meat and poultry are responsible for 29% of foodborne illness-related deaths in the U.S. The CDC estimates that Salmonella causes more foodborne illnesses than any other bacteria. Chicken is the major source of these illnesses. Low-income neighborhoods, often predominantly Black, have higher concentrations of fast food options like fried chicken and significantly lower access to fresh produce and plant-based foods. This disparity can be linked to higher occurrence of chronic lifestyle diseases found among African Americans. These facts are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to learning the truth about the chicken we eat. Not only do chickens suffer greatly as they are grown for human consumption, the way that they're grown does significant damage to our environment, and the consumption of chicken puts our health at risk.
You know what? It is so important that we know how chicken goes from the farm to the plate. But you know what? I think it's safe to say that we're highly desensitized to what exactly happens to chicken to get them from the farm to the grocery store and to dinner plates. Or we just don't think about it. When restaurants have pictures of their chicken wings and sandwiches on the menu, there's no photos of the lives of chickens prior to slaughter. So let's talk about some of the conditions. So the conditions in animal agriculture facilities are deplorable. Many chickens die even before making it to slaughter, whether it be from transport and handling or the sole fact that broiler chickens grow 6 times faster than normal chicken. The extra weight causes health problems like necrosis of hip joints and not being able to stand to support the extra weight. Heart attacks are a common occurrence in broiler chickens because of the rapid growth in size. And you thought heart attacks were bad? Broiler chickens also succumb to something called sudden death syndrome. The poor diet they're fed to aid in the fast weight gain, the birds' bodies and their fast weight gain strains the birds' bodies, causing them to drop dead suddenly. You know, it's just heartbreaking to hear. You know, it's just like, just to get a thigh, a wing, a breast on your plate, you know, these poor chickens, they just have to, it's just to go through all of that. Like, Jamila, are those facts shocking or what?
Very, very shocking. And I love how you touched on the fact that we're very desensitized to that, because a lot of people want to normalize the fact that, like, oh, it's okay that these things happen. And of course, we don't know, and we don't know what we don't know. However, sometimes people do know these things. Like, there have been a lot of like little documentaries and things about that. People will try their hardest to like cut off their hearts to feeling the devastation of that, because we all know that it does not feel good to know that this happens to these animals.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you so much for all those facts, because once again, that is something that we definitely need to know, devastating or not. But you know what? There is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and we have a palate cleanser for you here, because, you know, we don't want to be doom and gloom, and we are not about that. We're all about empowerment here at Afro-Vegan Society. So let's move on to our next segment, which is, like I said before, light at the end of the tunnel, animals enjoying their best life. Roll the clip, please.
Eye on him, and look, this is what they do. He kisses him. That's his chicken. Oh my goodness.
Oh, so cute. And you can actually find this clip from our Instagram at Afro-Vegan Society. We got this from Amy's Farm Animal Sanctuary, who is also an Instagram. And we love animal sanctuaries here at Afro-Vegan Society. And also, how rare is it for chickens and other animals to make it out of the slaughterhouse to a sanctuary? It's such a blessing because most animals, like as you mentioned earlier, Jess, is that they are bred into existence solely for our consumption, for their bodies, for their secretions, for their skin, for whatever reason we choose to use their being for our enjoyment. And so it is such a like heartwarming thing to see when animals are able to make it out of that situation, whether it be from somebody's help or just on their own, into an animal sanctuary. And animal sanctuaries are not only awesome because they basically save animals and give them a very healthy home, a very nice, safe, warm home, but they're so effective to show people that animals are more than just what we see at our plate. They're more than a breast, a thigh, a slab of steak. That's not what they're here for. They're here to enjoy their lives. They're here to like basically benefit the planet in some sort of way. And even if they don't benefit the planet, they deserve to be here just like us. And so they're so effective in showing people compassion towards animals, to give us the sight that they deserve to be here just as much as we do. And they have every right to their own body autonomy, even if they can't speak our language. And also, it gives you like there's such a misconception of what animals look like in person. Like I'm not too sure, Jess, if you've been to an animal sanctuary. I'm not too sure if anyone who's watching has been to an animal sanctuary. But if you've visited one before, you'll see that the pigs are huge, the cows are huge, and we don't see it on TV or when we see it even in the clip like that, even though in the clip those were babies. We we like to think that animals are small, that they're smaller than us, but really they weigh tons. They have like larger organs. Like animals, when they're not in captivity, when they're on their own doing what they need to do in this life, they just they're so happy and large and in charge. And I love to see it. I love to see it. And also, animal sanctuaries are so much fun because like you're getting to connect with the animals, you're getting to just feel them. Like a lot of the time we like to think of animals as just like robots. A lot of them like to just think of just live robots just roam around because, but no, they are so much more than that. And they're so much fun to just hang around. We all know that we like to be around cats and dogs, but being around cows, chickens, pigs is just as fun. And also, animal sanctuaries are such a beautiful thing because they help you envision a world where animal agriculture isn't the norm and they're just allowed to just do them. Because once again, they should just be able to do that. So I love animal sanctuaries. Once again, we at Afro-Vegan Society love animal sanctuaries because you get to see beyond what animals are like in the animal agriculture industry.
Yeah.
Just wasn't that a cute video?
That is one of my favorite videos on the internet. You know, I think we don't even think about like unless you've had the privilege. And first of all, I love that you have been to an animal sanctuary. I have never been to one, but of course, like doing work with ABS, we highlight things like this. So like I've seen them and it just I mean the word sanctuary in itself for animals, it has to be one of the most they must live the best lives, which they deserve to, you know, because just in like that video, we don't even think about that different animal species could be friends.
Yeah.
But if you're raised together, which some of them are, you know, they have a kinship. And I love that. So I think it's so important to think about animals, chickens, more than food on your plate, you know? So this is such an important conversation, and I'm so glad that we got to hopefully enlighten you, you know, give you some facts that you didn't know about, you know?
Yes, everyone. And this news special is an investigation into how the chicken that we eat, in a serious and a humorous way, just so we're giving you the broad, full spectrum of the detriments of eating chicken, the chicken that we eat, the chicken that we consume, because there's definitely another way.
Yeah. And you don't have to. That's the thing.
Mhm.
I think of course, one of the things that we do. If you've been tuning in to our ABS chicken creation series this week, there are so many different ways to cook with chicken, so many different ingredients you can use in place of chicken. So in this day and age, it's just not needed. Along with the cruelty that we showed you and the environmental impact, I hope, we encouraged you or put a little light bulb to maybe leave chicken off your plate for good. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And just like what you said, there is definitely more work to be done. And the best thing that we can all do is, to the best of our ability, change our behavior.
Absolutely. And please stay tuned. We're not done. Thank you for joining us for our broadcast. I like to say from the kitchen to the newsroom, So thank you all for tuning in. And we have another cooking demo coming up tomorrow with our ABS team member, Jasmine. I believe she's making a kale vegan chicken salad, Jamila. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. And Jasmine's cooking. She puts her foot in her cooking. So
yes, Jasmine makes so many things from scratch. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you all are too. So, tune into that. I'm going to tune in too to get that recipe.
Honestly, absolutely. So definitely, everybody, be sure to give this video a like, comment down below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're basically on it all, y'all. So definitely look us up and give us some support on there. And also, you can support our work by donating. So you can go to our website at afrovegansociety.org/get-involved to donate to Afro-Vegan Society today. And we appreciate all of your support.
Absolutely. Once again, on behalf of the whole ABS team, and of course, Jamila and I, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a great evening. Yes. And stay tuned for the rest of ABS Chicken Creations.
Absolutely. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.